there's no way you can be specific on that answer, because it does come down to the individual client and where they're based. Some countries have some very generous inheritance tax rules, and some really don't. So, for example, in France, the rules are not very generous, unless again, depending on who you're leaving your money to. So, if you're leaving your money to your close family, then yes. But if you're leaving money to other people who are maybe nieces, nephews, not so good. So I think it's hard to be too specific on that one. But one thing that does need to be taken into consideration is whether or not someone has sufficient ties to the UK to be deemed UK domicile. And that's something that is often overlooked, where a client maybe moved to another country, they've been there a couple of years, and don't really think about the UK inheritance tax laws anymore. But that's probably a mistake, because what you need to really make sure is that you're, and again, I say make sure, it's really difficult to do that because the rules are not that objective. But ultimately, if you are deemed UK domicile on your death, you will pay inheritance tax in the UK on your global assets. And the double taxation treaty may come into that, but it's a very complicated piece of advice. So, it's always worthwhile speaking to an advisor that's regulated both in the UK and Europe.
I suppose, to add to Tom's point, it is linked to domicile, and if you have a significant estate, irrespective of whether you're living in the UK or not, but you have significant ties to the UK and you have a significant net worth, it's very, very much worth getting in touch with a UK financial advisor, and also getting them to put you in touch with a UK tax specialist to assess your situation and potentially do some planning around that. Because if your estate is over and above a certain amount, let's say over and above £1.5 million, there is potentially a big inheritance tax bill at the end of that, irrespective of whether you are based in the UK or not when you die.